Alright folks, I'm Andy Nabreski with On the Water. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about catching false albacore from shore. Right now it's early September. False albacore just showed up. We're on a south-facing beach on Cape Cod and the fish are around. Now catching them from shore is not necessarily easy. It's a low percentage game, but the rewards are worth it. You hook one of these fish up from shore, there's nothing better. The drag will scream like no other fish that's around. As far as tackle goes, I like to keep things pretty light. That's the whole point of catching false albacore. They make these great long blistering runs. You don't want to use heavy tackle, you want to enjoy the fight. So I have here, these are both St. Croix rods. This one is rated to 1.5 ounces. This one is rated to 3/4 ounces. So I'll throw smaller, lighter lures on this, and my heavier jigs I'll throw on the heavier rod. 7-foot length. You could go a little bit longer. As far as your reel goes, this is a Dio Fuego 3000, and this is a Penn Conquest, both about the same size. They match up, they're nice and light. You have a lot of fun when you're fighting these fish. And as far as our line goes, once again, I like to keep it pretty light. I'm using 20-pound Power Pro braid for my main line and 15-pound fluorocarbon Seagar for my leader. And I like to keep my leaders long, 5 to 6 foot in length. These fish have really good eyesight, so you don't want them getting a good look at your line. The longer your fluorocarbon leader is, the more fish you're going to catch. And I like to use as little hardware as possible. Avoid using snaps, avoid using swivels. The fish can see those. You get them stuck in the guide, so I always tie my braid directly to my leader material. I use a uni knot. You could use an FG knot. There's a number of other great knots out there that work. The uni knot is fairly simple. You can tie it quickly. That's why I like it. I've never had it fail. But feel free to use whatever knot that you're familiar with. The other thing you need to realize with false albacore is that they only spend like 0.001% of their life crashing around up on top chasing bait. The rest of the time they're swimming subsurface, they're looking for bait, they're schooling up the bait. So just because you don't see any fish breaking, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be casting. I've caught a lot more albies just while blind casting when nothing's been happening than I have been when they're actually up on top breaking. So another good tip with false albacore is that you got to realize it's not humanly possible to reel your lure so fast that an albie can't catch up with it. They're incredibly quick. They get competitive when there's a pack of them, they see your lure. So a really fast retrieve is good, but still you don't want it water skiing on top of the surface. You want it just below the surface, maybe occasionally popping up. And I like to give it a real good burn with the reel, give it a pause, let it sink back, and then start ripping it again. This might sound counterintuitive, but you really are better off just camping out in one spot. If you see fish crashing 100 yards down the beach, by the time you run down there and get to them, they're going to be gone. So they might pop right back up where you just were. They might go another 100 yards, but rarely do these fish stay in one spot for more than a minute or so. They're always on the move. They're cruising up and down. So if you're in a spot where you've seen them break, there's a good chance they're going to come back and they're going to show up again. As far as lure choice goes, when you're fishing from the beach, really metal reigns. You need to be able to get long casts. You need to be able to reach the fish. So we're looking for a lure that is very castable, small, dense. Generally the fish are going to be feeding on peanut bunker, so anything that kind of matches the size and shape of peanut bunker is going to work well. But there's a variety of number ones out there that'll work, and I'm kind of of the belief that all the lures are going to work. You just need to put them in the right spot and work them properly. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's no longer in production. This is a Sebile Fast Cast. Last season, this is the only lure I fished for the whole season. It was working. I know how to use it. The more you overthink things, the less fish sometimes you catch. You know, if you're constantly changing lures, changing colors, I think it's really more important just to have something appropriate. Keep working it, keep it in the zone, and sooner or later you're going to connect. As far as lure selection goes, I like to take kind of a Spartan approach. I don't like to bring everything in the house out with me. The more stuff you bring, the more stuff that's going to end up rusting up. And another good tip is leave the lures in the package. You don't feel the need to take them all out, line them up in the box. Like I said, if you don't use it, chances are a little bit of water is going to get in there. That's all it takes to rust the hooks. And I think you really need good, clean lures with nice, clean hooks, no rust on them. It's definitely going to help you hook more of these fish. They have very good eyesight. You want your presentation to be as realistic as possible. And there's a few different schools of thought on how to arrange them. I kind of do mine by bait style. So where I fish, peanut bunker is going to be the main bait that they're going to be chasing. But you also have silver sides. They also get on bay anchovies, which they absolutely love. And they can also get on sand eels. So I like to just carry a few different lures that kind of cover all 4 of those categories. So these would be kind of some of my more bay anchovy selections. The Hoagie Epoxy jig, Daddy Mac Alby jig is a great one. These look absolutely incredible. I haven't fished them yet. They just came out by Alby Snacks, called the Hard Snacks. Great looking bait. And then as far as when they're on sand eels, it's really tough to beat the good old Deadly Dick, the smaller sizes. It's kind of a must-have. When the fish are real finicky and they're on small bait, Deadly Dick is a great way to go. I also carry soft plastics. Tsunami makes some great ones. This is called the Trout Mauler. It's pretty lightweight, but it stays up in the water column. This is another one of my favorites here. That is the Split Shad. This is a Tsunami Squid. I've had days where nothing else works and these get bit. So sometimes it's nice to have something that's a little bit different. And the little 4-inch Ronzies are a great bait too. All these lures will work. It's not really a bad choice. It's just all about getting them in the right place at the right time. As far as peanut bunker imitators go, this is a 0.75 ounce made by Jetty Ghost Tackle. They make some great stuff. The good old crippled herrings, classic 1.5 ounce. These little Hoagie minnow jigs, the small ones are great when they're on small bait. The only thing that looks like that, looks like a peanut bunker, it's going to catch fish. Now as far as locations go, there certainly are some spots that are going to be better than others. Ideally you want to find a beach that has some access to deeper water close by, but they really can pop up anywhere. I've seen these fish in places you never would have expected to see them. It's more about going out, finding a spot where you can get extended. If there's a jetty that'll get you a little bit further out into the surf, that's a good tactic. And just try to stick in areas that have deeper water nearby. When you actually do hook into a false albacore, the last thing you want to do is start shaking your rod and trying to set the hook. Just let the fish go. It's going to make one big blistering run right off the bat. Keep your drag loose, enjoy it, have fun. After about a minute or so, they tend to start tiring out a little bit. A lot of times they'll charge right back in on you. But just try to always maintain a good steady pressure. You know, don't feel that it's going to take all your line. It's not going to happen. As long as your drag is set properly, just play it out, have fun with it, and enjoy the fight. Alright folks, thanks for watching. Happy casting. Get out there and give it a go. It's a lot of fun. Nothing else beats catching a false albacore from shore. Good luck out there, and keep your eyes peeled on onthewater.com for more information.